Remember when fans of The Bachelorette were convinced that something was going on between Jenn Tran and Jonathon Johnson? Well, he does too. The Season 21 alum is opening up about what actually transpired between them on the Lightweights podcast with Joe Vulpes in the months since the Bachelorette finale. He admitted when Tran first landed in Los Angeles for Dancing with the Stars, she didn't know that many people in the West Coast city, so he wanted to be there for her. He wanted to be a familiar face to lean on after her breakup with Devin Strader. The 28-year-old emphasized that he went to every News.Is taping when Tran was competing. When Vulpes followed up by noting that Tran became close with Sasha Farber during her experience on Dancing with the Stars, Johnson cleared up his feelings about Tran's new romance. "People think I have a problem with that," he began. "I have no problem with the two of them," Johnson said. "I'm happy for her no matter how she ends up." When asked what the bond with Tran is like today, Johnson admitted that they haven't spent much time outside of events getting to know each other in a post-show setting. "I don't know where the friendship itself stands," Johnson admitted. He continued, "Obviously would love to keep a good friendship with her and make sure she feels as if she has somebody on her side from her season, but that's up to her." Meanwhile, Johnson will be heading to Bachelor in Paradise later this year to look for love again. Tran isn't the only person from his stint on The Bachelorette with whom he keeps in contact, seeing the other California residents occasionally, alongside other fellas like Hakeem Moulton and Spencer Conley. Johnson stated that he loves all the guys. However, after saying that on the podcast, he took a moment and then clarified, "I love most of the guys." The stage lights blared down on Jenn Tran as she spun gracefully across the ballroom floor, her sequin dress catching every glimmer of the spotlight. Jonathon Johnson sat in the audience, his heart beating faster than he expected. He wasn't sure what made him show up to this taping of Dancing with the Stars. Maybe it was nostalgia, maybe curiosity, or maybe, just maybe, it was the unresolved feelings he carried since their shared time on The Bachelorette. But tonight wasn't about him. Jenn looked radiant, her face a picture of concentration and joy as she performed a complicated tango with Sasha Farber. He couldn't help but admire her, the way she carried herself with both elegance and determination. Watching her brought back memories of their late-night conversations in the Bachelorette mansion, where they bonded over a shared love of cooking and travel. When the performance ended, Jonathon joined the crowd in a standing ovation, his applause louder than anyone else's. When Jenn first moved to Los Angeles to begin her stint on Dancing with the Stars, she felt like a fish out of water. Sure, she was used to the cameras and the attention, but something about LA felt overwhelming. The sprawling city, the fast-paced lifestyle, the endless stream of unfamiliar faces, it was a lot to handle. Jonathon, ever the empathetic listener, had reached out to her almost immediately. "Hey, I know how crazy LA can be at first," he had texted her. "If you ever need a friend or a familiar face, I'm here." To his surprise, she took him up on the offer. Their first meetup was casual, a coffee at a small cafe in Santa Monica. Jenn arrived wearing oversized sunglasses and a hoodie, trying to stay incognito. "Big star now, huh?" Jonathon teased as she sat down. She rolled her eyes but laughed. "Hardly. I just don't want to get caught looking like a mess by the paparazzi." They talked for hours that day. Jenn opened up about her breakup with Devin Strader, admitting it was harder than she let on publicly. Jonathon listened, offering words of encouragement and the occasional joke to lighten the mood. "Honestly, you're like the only person from the show who's reached out," Jenn admitted. "I figured you might need a friend," he said with a shrug. As weeks went by, Jonathon became a regular at Jenn's Dancing with the Stars performances. He cheered her on from the audience, offering a supportive smile or a congratulatory hug after each show. But as Jenn grew closer to her dance partner, Sasha Farber, Jonathon couldn't ignore the pang of jealousy that crept into his chest. One night, after a particularly stunning performance, Jenn and Sasha shared an embrace on stage. The crowd roared with approval, but Jonathon felt his stomach twist. "You okay?" Jenn asked him later, noticing his quiet demeanor as they grabbed dinner at a nearby diner. "Yeah, of course," he said, forcing a smile. "You and Sasha seem close." Jenn tilted her head, studying him. "He's my partner. We spend a lot of time together." "Right, makes sense," Jonathon replied, poking at his food. "Are you jealous?" Her bluntness caught him off guard. "What? No, I mean, maybe a little, but it's not like that. I'm just protective, I guess." Jenn softened. "You don't need to be. Sasha's great, but we're just friends. Besides, you've been an amazing friend to me. That means more than you know." Despite his best efforts to maintain a platonic friendship, Jonathon couldn't shake the lingering feelings he had for Jenn, but he knew better than to act on them. Instead, he decided to focus on his own journey. When the opportunity to join Bachelor in Paradise came up, he saw it as a chance to hit reset. "I think I need this," he told Jenn over the phone one evening. "I need to move on, find someone who's actually looking for the same thing I am." Jenn's voice was warm but tinged with sadness. "I think that's a good idea. You deserve to find someone amazing, Jonathon." "Thanks, Jenn. And hey, don't be a stranger, okay? I still want us to be friends." "Always," she promised. Paradise wasn't exactly paradise. The sandy beaches and tropical drinks were nice, but the drama was constant. Jonathon found himself navigating a web of love triangles and tense confrontations. He hit it off with a contestant named Mia, a yoga instructor from Colorado with a contagious laugh and a laid-back attitude. For a while, it seemed like things might work out. But even as he tried to build something with Mia, he couldn't fully let go of Jenn. One evening, as he sat alone by the fire, another contestant approached him. It was Spencer Conley, one of his friends from the Bachelorette. "You good, man?" Spencer asked, sitting down beside him. "Yeah, just thinking," Jonathon replied. "About Jenn?" Jonathon sighed. "Is it that obvious?" Spencer chuckled. "A little. Look, I get it. But you're here now. Focus on what's in front of you." "Easier said than done," Jonathon muttered. After leaving Bachelor in Paradise, Jonathon decided it was time for closure. He reached out to Jenn, asking if they could meet up. They met at a park in Leh, the setting sun casting a golden glow over the city. "I wanted to see you before I head back home," Jonathon said. Jenn smiled. "How was Paradise?" "Complicated," he admitted, "but it gave me a lot of time to think." "About what?" "About us. About how I've been holding on to this idea of what could have been." Jenn looked at him, her expression unreadable. "I care about you, Jenn. I always will. But I think it's time I let go of whatever I was hoping for. You deserve to be happy, and so do I." Jenn reached out, placing a hand on his. "Jonathon, I'm so grateful for you. You've been such a good friend to me. I hope you find someone who sees how amazing you are." He smiled, a genuine smile that reached his eyes. "Thanks, Jenn. And hey, if you ever need a friend to cheer you on, you know where to find me." Months later, Jonathon found himself in a new relationship with someone outside of the reality TV world, a woman named Claire who shared his love of adventure and had a knack for making him laugh. As for Jenn, she continued to thrive in her career, her romance with Sasha blossoming into something special. Though their paths had diverged, Jonathon and Jenn remained friends, occasionally catching up over coffee or a quick phone call. Sometimes, letting go doesn't mean losing. Sometimes, it means making space for something new. And for Jonathon Johnson, the future had never looked brighter.